Well, good morning, y'all. I'm Tyler with Front Range Overland, and today we're headed out on a little adventure. We are on our way to Merus Adventure Park, just outside of Amarillo, Texas, in the Palo Duro Canyon. We are meeting my brother, my uncle, and my parents there. We're going to do some camping and some overlanding. I've got the Gladiator and the Vintage Trailer Works XTR camper all loaded up. We got about 4 hours and 21 minutes, 310 miles to go to get there. So I will check in with you guys here in just a little bit. Just want to give you a quick update. We're about 10 minutes from Claude, Texas, which is the closest town, at least on the north end from Merus. So if you are coming to Merus, that would be the place to stop and fill up. And then it's about a 20-minute drive from Claude to Merus. So we're about 10 minutes from there. We covered just about 380 miles. I know a lot of people, when they see rigs towing campers, whether it's a little square drop like we have here or any shape or size camper, everyone always asks what's the miles per gallon, which that isn't really created equal. It's all kind of dependent on your setup. The trailer we have is a Vintage Trailer Works XTR. Its bone stock dry weight is about 1,750 pounds with all the stuff that we have on it, and I'll do a walk around on that probably here in the near future. I'm going to guess probably around 2,100 pounds total, fully loaded with food, all of our clothes and belongings, and water. The Gladiator, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I recently got it. I had a 23 Ford Bronco Badlands that I traded in for this. This is a 21 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon diesel, so it has the diesel engine. It came with Mopar lift, and then it had extremely heavy 35-inch Toyo Open Country MT tires that I swapped out to a set of 37-inch BFG KO2s and a load range D. So they're like mid-60s pounds per tire. And I'm averaging, just for this trip alone, I started it when we left my house in Colorado, and so it's this trip's miles per gallon. I'm at 16.3, which is pretty good. Obviously, everyone knows you don't buy a Jeep for the miles per gallon, but coming from the Bronco, I towed the exact same trailer. It was slightly lighter because we upgraded the tent to a 4x4 Colorado Alto Mini, which is a pretty hefty, she's a hefty girl, but we did a 3,500 mile trip in October from Colorado. Went to, I think, 5 national parks out west in California, down to the Grand Canyon, and that 3,500 mile trip, I think we barely averaged 10 miles per gallon. So and that wasn't until the very end that we got up to 10. I think for the most of the trip we were in single digits, right around 9 miles per gallon. So huge improvement. Like I said, I'm on 37s pulling this trailer and getting over 16 miles per gallon, so I can't complain. I usually average, and to caveat all of that, I haven't done the old taser to change the speedometer and all of that to calibrate to the size of the tires. So I think it still thinks we're on the factory 33s. So all of that could mean absolutely nothing. I could be getting a very different miles per gallon. That's all based off the computer and not off of actual doing my own calculations based on fuel. But just want to check in. We're about 10 miles away, about 8 minutes from Claude, gonna get gas. Everyone else should be meeting there almost at the exact same time, which is pretty good because they came from 6 hours in the opposite direction. So yeah, next stop is going to be Merus. Well, good morning, y'all. Getting a little late start to the morning. It's about 11:15 now. I got in last night, kind of just hung out, caught up with the family a little bit, and just had a pretty easy night until the wind came. We're here mid-March, back on Friday. Today's Monday, so on Friday, Amarillo in this area had a really bad windstorm. I think like 70, 80 mile an hour winds. Last night, they were probably in the 30s. But we were in campsite 113, which sits up on the ridge there of the canyon and is pretty exposed. So after we got up, we went up to the office, checked in with them to see if we could move campsites down into the canyon, and they said yes. So got a recommendation to stay back in the meadows, which is pretty far back in there. So we're on our way right now to check out to make sure it's a feasible campsite. We have 2 square drop trailers and a ground tent. So I need to make sure we have enough room for all of that. So on our way there now, and hopefully it's a good spot and we can get out of the wind tonight, because it's only supposed to get worse the rest of the week that we're here. So yeah, it'll be a fun day. So you just want to straddle the hole. So put your driver's side on my side and then your passenger side on the other side. So come driver just a hair. Perfect. Just easy throttle all the way up. Perfect. A little bit driver. Good driver. Driver would be the direction to turn the wheel instead of lefts and rights. Side up. So right now we are on Northbound, which is a green or beginner rated trail. I think everyone has their own way of grading some of these trails. If you're familiar with trails off-road, I would probably rank it more so in the 3 category. It's got some nice little ruts, some, not really off-camber stuff, but there's a few little hill climbs here and there that have been a lot of fun. I look forward to bringing the camper down here. That'll be a treat. But Northbound is a good access trail to a lot of the other harder trails, but it is the easiest route up to the meadows, which is the campground we're trying to get up to right now. But so far it's been a lot of fun. My mom in the white Wrangler, which you may have already seen or will see here in a little bit, and then my brother in his green Gladiator are both new to off-roading, so this is a good trail to introduce them to it, kind of build their confidence up. That's the biggest thing. The vehicle is definitely capable, but it's all about building up the driver's confidence. So yeah, it's been fun so far. I look forward to getting to camp, making sure we can camp there, and then driving all the way back up top, grabbing the trailers, and then making the drive one more time. All right, so the meadows is gonna work. It's definitely more sheltered from the wind. You're in this little cul-de-sac of trees, so we'll be able to get out of the wind at night and have a better night's sleep, hopefully. So now we gotta head back up to the top, grab the campers. We'll break down camp real quick, grab the campers, and then head back down. Hopefully it won't take too long and we can get out and explore some more trails. That is what we came here to do. All right, well, we successfully moved camp. Now we're in the Meadows, which is also called Area 800, which is kind of like the northeast corner of the park. We took northbound up here, and now we're going to take, I believe it's called Salt Fork back. So northbound is a green trail,
we're gonna disconnect our swipe bar.
and we're going to take Salt Fork, which is a blue trail. So should be a little bit more difficult, a little bit more fun. Get out and play for a little bit, and then head back and get some dinner. So yeah, here we go. Alright, slow up, because you want to put your tire right here. So stay driver. Driver. You're good. Easy peasy. Yep, stay right there. You're going to climb up. Nice and easy throttle. Stay right there. Hold that line. Cool. And your back tire is going to follow that. become driver just a little bit. Stay driver, stay driver. You're gonna come off. Just keep going straight. Straight up. Nope. Driver. Perfect. Yeah, stay there for a second. Alright, you're clear of it, so come back faster now. Faster gonna climb. So we're about to the end of Deep Creek. It's been an absolute blast. It's a gorgeous little trail, short, but where it lacks in length, it's definitely a more challenging and fun trail than the portion of Salt Fork that we did. We did the upper portion up towards Area 800, the Meadows campground, ran that south and linked up with Deep Creek. So fun trail, very short, definitely worth doing. It gets you off of the green Merus 101 trail for a little bit. Gorgeous trail, so highly suggest it. But we're almost done. My uncle's having some power steering issues with his Gladiator. We went over a little rock obstacle and all of a sudden his power steering was intermittently working, so We're gonna run back up to the office where there's Wi-Fi and see if Google can't help us diagnose what's going on. Hopefully it's just an easy fix, or his car is just being a little temperamental. But we're gonna jump off Deep Creek back onto Merus 101 and run that up to the office. So we're making our way back to camp now. We went up to the office for cell phone service so that we could use the old Google machine to figure out what the deal was with the steering on the Gladiator. Turns out that it seems like it's a kind of a known issue with the power steering pumps going out. Luckily, it's not completely out, so it works as long as we're moving. So not much we can do about it right now. He'll have to get it looked at when he gets back home in Florida, but it seems to be working now, so we're gonna push on. It's almost 6 o'clock now, so most of our day was spent moving camp. So hopefully tomorrow, get up, have a early breakfast, and hit some trails. There's a big cave on the south end of the park that we're going to go and explore. And then Merus has the all roads taken badges. And there's a few of the blue trails that have badges you can earn by completing them and then just letting the front office know, and then you can buy them. So gonna hit up some of those trails tomorrow, hopefully, and tomorrow should be a better day out on the trail. But we're gonna get back to camp, have some dinner, and then just relax. Hopefully get a shower in, because it's been windy and it's dusty. If you've ever been to Moab, you kind of know what that dust is like, and Merus is no different there. So got probably another 30 minutes on the trail before we get back to camp. So I'll see you guys here in a little bit. Well, good morning from day number 2 here at Merus. We are leaving camp this morning and headed out. Goal today is to go down and do Sagosaur and explore the big cave, and then head up top out of the canyon and along the rim on the north side of the park is VR4 North. Both of those are badges that Merus has from All Roads Taken. So you do those trails and you can earn some badges. So that's our plan for today. Should be a fun one. We're gonna hit some trails in between, obviously. Finish up Merus 101, which is another one. We've done pretty much the north half of it. And today, getting down to Sagosaur, we will finish the southern half. And then maybe do Lonesome Dove. I hear that's supposed to be a pretty good one as well. So should be fun. So we're on Merus 101 right now, and that pretty much connects the western edge of the park all the way out to the southeastern corner of the park. And at just under 4.5 miles, it is one of the largest trails here. It's like the main connector trail to get to pretty much the majority of the trails. If you're in the canyon, you're going to be on Merus 101 at some point. But we're taking this down to the southern end of the park to do Sagosaur, and then that will connect us eventually to Back 40 And then from back 40, we'll do Lonesome Dove. But on back 40, we will stop for lunch and explore the big cave or the large cave. Stretch our legs for a little bit, and then head up out of the canyon and to the north side and do VR40, which runs around the northern rim of the canyon. On our way back, grab some showers, head back to camp for a much needed dinner. Hard right. So we're about a little over half a mile into Sagosaur, and it's been an absolute blast. It starts off right from the beginning and hasn't let up since. It'll definitely test your vehicle's suspension and articulation and ground clearance. I'm on 37s and probably a 2.5 inch Mopar left, and there's a few spots where I bellied up on a ridge crest, but it's been fun. We have Gladiator with 2.5 inch lift on 35s. The green Gladiator is stock on 33s, and then the white Wrangler is 3.5 inch metal cloak game changer on 35. So you get an idea of how each of those have tackled the obstacles. And so far the stock Gladiator has he's been a trooper. He's had to drop into 4 low and turn on his lockers a couple of times when he's lifting a wheel on some of these obstacles, but he's making it through. So gives you an idea of what your vehicle can do depending on what your modifications are or lack thereof. But I think we have probably 1.5 miles to go. I think this one's just short of 2 miles. And we'll definitely earn this badge. So more to come. Carl, the view coming up over that little hill back there was pretty impressive. Say again?
Yeah, John and John are going to follow us.
Cool. Just finished up with a quick bite to eat for lunch. Kind of a late lunch. It's about 2:30 now. We are now on back 40, which is at the very south end of the park. Taking that to the big cave entrance, or the big cave, and get out, stretch our legs there for a little bit, check out the cave, and then we're gonna head back out of the canyon and hopefully hit up VR4 North later this afternoon.
I don't want to fall into that either. Oh yeah, that looks like it hurt. Anybody know where we are?
I had to bring my flares.
Look at this little cave. No, that was the little.
The cave your daughter found was a little cave.
I brought my tennis shoes that have no traction so that I could slide my way in.
Don't fall over Uncle Carl.
Flashlight. We have our cell phone flashlight. What you got, girl?
Is this where we're supposed to come in?
Don't whack your noggin. Well, this is how it all starts, kids.
I've seen this movie.
Yep, I've read this book too. Boy, it feels good in here.
It's part of the adventure, oh.
Perfect right here.
I'll get right behind you. Near the entrance, so you can hear us.
Scream for help.
Through the echo.
Hey, oh, come here. Let me see. I want to be able to see before you get in front of it, okay? Yeah, come back here.
Yeah, let's stay behind Uncle Carl. You alright?
Yeah, we're good.
Something fell.
Oh, no. That's the flashlight we need when we all get trapped back here. Oh, well.
It's like you can like walk and climb up.
You follow my lead? I'll let you know when I find your skeleton. Yeah, hey, can you hear me?
Oh, hell no.
Oh, jeez.
Now with claustrophobia, it's kind of slamming hard. You can go ahead. I mean, just kind of paddle ahead.
How those knees feel?
Good.
Is the rock crumbling or your knees popping?
Yeah, well, if the rocks in trouble, I'm the watch. That was a little easier than Steven's path. Here's a loose rock. It's nice to work out, you know?
Yeah.
Actually, the air conditioning is probably the best part.
Oh, yeah. Plus, my hemorrhoids are just completely on fire.
Well, dub over some music on this one.
Was this the one Johnny was putting out? The one in front?
So we just finished up with the big cave, and now we are back on back 40. That'll take us to Lonesome Dove, and then we'll head out of the canyon after that.
Check radio check.
If you have the opportunity to do the big cave, I highly suggest it. It's a short, easy hike from the parking lot area, and once you climb down, the worst part is the climb down into the hole to get into the cave entrance. But once you're in there, it's pretty cool. If it's hot outside, it's cool inside, so it's at least a break from the heat. But bring a flashlight. But back on the trail, headed up back 40 to Lonesome Dove, get up top, and then do VR4 north to wrap up the day. It's about 3 o'clock now. All right, we're about halfway through Lonesome Dove, and it's so much fun. Such a cool trail. This whole place is just awesome. So, as you see from some of the clips, my brother and his stock Gladiator have been getting through everything without any issues. So if you have any concerns about coming out here and your lightly or not modified high clearance 4x4, obviously you can see from this that it is definitely possible. Just make sure you pick the right lines and just take your time. And I would definitely come in a group. You see a red red Wrangler now. We just picked up a guy named John that was out wheeling by himself with his son and his son's fiance, and they just decided to tag along. So group of 5 now. He's got, looks like a 4-door Wrangler Sport with a little bit of a lift, and he's on 37s. So he's been out here, I guess, a few times. He lives here locally in Texas, so it's always good. It's a good community. Off-roaders are some of the best people. So yeah, if you're out off-roading with the group or by yourself and you cross paths with someone going in the same direction, let them join in. It's always better with a bigger group in case something happens and you need a little bit of help. You may be able to tell from the footage, but everything is painted a nice gray now. Looks like we got a little dust storm rolling in, and hopefully it clears out by the time we get up top, but I doubt it. It seems like the wind's picking up and it'll probably stay that way the rest of the evening. But that might ruin some of the views from the top of the canyon when we run VR4 North next. But it's still beautiful, just a little bit more gray now. Alright, we're on our way to VR4 North. We're going to start at the north end of it and then work our way back to the office grab some showers, and then head back to camp for some dinner. It fortunately still getting pounded by this dust storm, so I have a feeling most of our view of the canyon is going to be blocked by the nice gray dust cloud, but we'll see when we get there. I'm sure it'll still make for a cool view even with the dust. But it's 4:50 now, so we'll definitely be looking forward to some dinner when we get done with this. There we go. Well, the view would have been better if the dust cloud wasn't here, but I'm sure it's super windy, or at least sounds super windy, because it is super windy. That view would be pretty amazing if it weren't for the dust. But let's keep on going. Up we go. Straight up. Views from VR4 North. They do not disappoint even when it's dusty out. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but that dust is no joke. There should be a canyon down there. It doesn't help every time you get out of the car, you get blasted in the face with a bunch of sand and dirt and dust. It's nice and blinding. We just stopped at Het's Bluff to take in what little view there is with all this dust, and we can actually see our campsite down in the meadows. And with all this wind, the Weather Channel says 30-mile-an-hour sustained winds with 55-mile-an-hour gusts. And we used binoculars. We could see down in our campsite. You can see my parents' ground tent blown over. Luckily, I have a bunch of stuff inside of it to keep it in the same place, but it looks like the stakes gave out and collapsed on itself. So, making our way out of VR4 North and back down to camp. With the weather tonight, the gusts aren't going to let up anytime soon. Probably around midnight they'll go down into the 30s, but it's going to make for a rather windy night's sleep tonight. This would be quite the view if the dust wasn't here. Unfortunately, with all this dust, we're probably going to be limited on the different camera angles, because every time I roll down the window, I just get blasted with a face full of dust. So this is why I like having a forward-facing camera, because this is my perspective. Nothing. There's the trail. Well, we just wrapped up VR4 North. Now we are headed back to camp. VR4 North was a lot of fun. It rides right along the canyon rim edge, and if you start at the north end, then work your way down, your driver's side is usually always on the edge. So there's a few off-camber sections that right around Cable Point had you leaning out like you're gonna fall off the side of the cliff. So that was a lot of fun. The wind is continuing to get worse. The dust and dirt getting blown around is pretty horrible. So headed back to camp now. We, like I mentioned earlier, the tent got knocked down, so we got to deal with that. Hopefully the wind isn't so bad that we can't cook dinner, because that'll make it even worse. But yeah, wrap the video up here. My parents and brother leave tomorrow to head home, and it'll just be myself and my uncle and our Gladiators for hopefully another 2 more days of wheeling here at Merus. It really just depends on what this wind decides to do, because it's miserable. You don't want to roll your window down or anything like that, because all the dust and dirt that gets blown inside, my eyes feel like they're just caked in dirt. So yeah, that'll be interesting. It could limit the camera angles. It'll be either my beautiful face or out the front window, because I don't want to roll the window down to get different angles or get out and put the camera up somewhere, and I haven't been able to fly the drone at all. So it's just been all these basic little angles that I can do here on the ground because the wind's been so bad. But we'll wrap it up here. Hopefully we'll have some safe haven in the campsite when we get there and get out of a little bit of this wind. But yeah, do all the YouTube love for me. I would greatly appreciate it. Still working through how I want to do these YouTube videos of us overlanding and adventuring. Typically it's myself and my wife and kids, but they're doing their own thing this week, and so I figured I'd come down here and play. So if you like it, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll catch you next week when we continue our adventure here at Merus. See ya. Well, good morning for what should have been day 3 here at Merus. Unfortunately, we decided to pack up and kind of cut the trip short. My parents and brother were supposed to leave today anyways, and just with the wind, cold, all the dirt and dust getting blown around, it's kind of just made things a little bit miserable and not as enjoyable as we would have liked. The off-roading's been great. If you've never been to Merus, it's an absolute blast. It's a little hidden gem up here in northern Texas. But we still got to get the trailers out of the canyon, so we'll add that to the end of this video. Should be fun. Definitely adds a new kind of mix to the off-roading when you slap a trailer on the back of your truck. Well, coming up the drop-in was fun. The wind wasn't too bad. The Jeep did well. Ended up going into 4 low and locking the rear lockers to give a little bit more traction, but this slow and steady always wins the race, and really uneventful. Better than I anticipated it being. So if you've have plans to come to Merus and haven't experienced the drop-in, it's fun. But we are almost back to the office. We'll probably air up, run inside, check out their swag, and then call it a day. So I appreciate you tuning in. We'll make this hopefully the official end of this video. I'd appreciate all of the YouTube love, likes, comments, all that good stuff. If you have questions, feel free to comment below. Subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything, helps me out a ton. So I would appreciate that. Until next time, thanks guys.